Hey, welcome to Ignosis TCG. Today we're going to go over the Vex deck that was announced a few days ago this week. This is a pre-constructed deck for the new Unleashed set. If you go in the news, you'll see the full deck list here, but what I'll like to do is we'll go to TCG Arena and go through the cards, kind of describe what the playstyle is here, and some suggestions on my behalf of some optional swap outs that we can do. So the legend card here is Gloomist Vex. When you or an ally hold, you may exhaust me to draw one. So holding here is the name of the game. Drawing is very, very powerful ability. In my opinion, the most powerful ability in any TCG game. So you're very incentivized to hold. And I think this is very exciting because usually the game plan for majority of the decks is you go in, you conquer, you score your point, and you leave. Over here, you're not leaving. You're doing everything you can to hold to get those hold benefits. And so you'll see a lot of cards here that kind of synergize with that. For the chosen champion, I picked Apathetic Vex. Reason being, she has Deflect. That's a very good way to hold. It's very synergistic. It's more difficult for your opponent to remove you because that's a very heavy cost to pay a power. When an opponent plays a unit while I'm at a battlefield, stun it. So you're at a battlefield, meaning you're probably holding, right? Stun it. They can't move it this turn. So even if they ready the unit, they still can't. So they still can't go and attack you. So it gives you a better chance to hold. So they have to wait a whole nother turn. They can't use any ready cards to go in and just dethrone you. So you're really holding on to that. No energy cost, so I thought this would be a great card to use as a chosen champion. The battlefields that are within this deck are Amateur Recital. When you hold here, you may move a unit at a battlefield to its base. So you hold one battlefield, which is this one. The other battlefield might already have some enemy units on there. You're planning on attacking it next turn. Go ahead and remove one of them, making it easier for you to attack. Gardens of Becoming units here have gain 1 XP. This deck does have a little bit of the XP mechanic element. It's not as heavy as maybe a Master Yi deck would for the new Unleashed set, but you do want to get to at least 6 XP to really proc some of your gears and units. And then Ripper's Bay. When a unit here is returned to a player's hand, that player may pay 1 to channel 1 rune exhausted. I think this is like probably the last one you want to play. There are some return to hand mechanics here, but it's a good way to kind of get a ramp up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Even split for Calm and Chaos runes, and I think that's pretty much fine. Here are the units. So the way you kind of want to play out your units is you have your early game. So you have something like Wuju Apprentice, you have Moss Stomper, you have Mutated Mouser, you even have Mr. Root, and they each do something a little bit different. So you might want to change your game plan accordingly. So Wuju Apprentice has Hunt, it does have a hold synergy. If you conquer or hold, you get 1 XP. And at level 6, when you play, you can draw one. So you get a little bit of a draw mechanic there. But that's kind of like mid to late game when, if you're replaying him, that you get to get that benefit. Mutated Mouser, this is another early game. It has +2 while it's defending. So hopefully you can play this early on, conquer early on. And then when you're defending, you have a 3 might unit defending, and it also has tanks, so it can help protect other units like Wuju Apprentice and stuff like that. This is your main deflect card, probably I think the only deflect card that you have. So if you're going up against a deck that has a lot of spells that target your units, you definitely want to dig and find Allay or Mulligan for her. So if you see you're playing against an Irelia deck or something like that, or a Fury deck that has a lot of combat spells, Mulligan hard for her, draw for her. You're going to need it to really exhaust your opponent's ramp. It's a 2 of in here. Moss Stomper, another Hunt card, but has Hunt 2, so you can ramp up that XP quickly. You don't really use your XP in this deck to pay as a cost, but you want that XP. And it also has Deflect if you get up to level 3 and a +1. So a really good hold card. And then Trevor Snoozebottom, another 3 cost card, has Shield. When you hold, you get a 3 might Sprite, so you make it even more difficult for people to come in and hold you. I thought this was kind of odd. I think they kind of threw this in just as a little bit of flavor, but it's a hidden card. It has backline, so will die last, especially if you have like tanks and other units up. When you play me from face down on your turn, you may move an enemy unit at a different location to my battlefield. So if you feel like you're winning, this is not really the strategy of the deck, but I guess if you have a really good hold on an area, you can pull in an enemy unit, start a showdown, and just kill them, destroy them. There's a lot of stuns in this deck too, which we'll get to. So you can probably pull them in, stun it, and then just kill it. So I could see that being a viable strategy. A little left field, but I think it works. And the other lower cost card is Enthusiastic Promoter. Another just hold synergy, buff all units here when you hold. So, you know, you have a bunch of units. So that's the game plan, right? You go in, you conquer, and then you hold. And then Mr. Root, you can accelerate them, and when they move to a battlefield, just gain 2. So another good way just to get that XP. So within a few turns, if you got a few key pieces, you should be able to get to 6 XP, and that'll really proc a lot of other cards that you're playing. So the other units here is Shadow. So Shadow, if you play me to a battlefield, I enter ready. And then you can have an action. You can 1 cost, 1 energy, 1 power, exhaust it. You can stun an enemy unit there. I don't think it's the best signature unit. It kind of has kind of a high cost just to stun. There's other ways you can stun in this deck that's a lot cheaper. But it does enter ready if you play to a battlefield. So there's that. So this is like a post conquer card that you want to play. And it can help out, I guess. It is an action. So if you're holding and someone attacks, you can use that action to stun an enemy unit, and you can probably have a better chance of holding. And then the other Vex cards that we have here is Vex Apathetic. When an opponent, oh wait, no, this is the same one I mentioned right up here. So there's additional copies for that. Vex Cheerless, when I'm in combat, while I'm in combat, friendly spells cost 1 energy, 1 power more to a minimum of 1, and enemy spells cost 1 power, 1 energy more. So this really helps you out in terms of like casting your own spells, and we'll take a look at that, and we'll see like how powerful this can be. And then Nami, just another stun card. So there's a lot of stuns incoming. So you can pay 1 calm power as an additional cost to play me. When you play me, if you pay the additional cost, stun an enemy unit. When I hold, next time you play a unit this turn, ready it and buff it. So that's actually really powerful. So if you can get this and you can have her hold, and again, this deck is designed to hold, your next turn, you're going to start snowballing. So those are your units. Oh, one more. Vex Mocking. She has a shield. She's a tank. 5 might. Pretty good. When you stun an enemy unit at a battlefield, you may move me to that battlefield. So you can play her to base. She's exhausted. Stun an enemy unit, and then just move her right in there. So a good way to be a little bit more aggressive. If you don't have a hold and you need to get a hold, this is a great card to play in that scenario. For the spells, quite a good number of spells here. Back Off is hidden. If you play it, you stun a unit. Existential Dread action, you can repeat for 2. Stun an attacking enemy unit. If it's already stunned, return it to its owner's hand. So if you mix this with Vex Cheerless, this is, you play it for free, and then you pay 2 more energy on repeat. That's a great way to just stun a board and wipe them out. And then Skyward Strike, you can make this 1 energy. If you have your Cheerless Vex, and at level 6, it can stun an enemy, not just move it. And then Combat Experience, you can play this for free as a reaction. Give a unit +1 this turn, so just a little bit more sustain. And level 3, you can give it +3 instead. So as you can see, a lot of good stuns, and they work well with the hold mechanics. You hold, you stun, you attack, you resolve combats that way. Scryer's Bloom, this is kind of like the replacement, I guess, for Called Shot. This enters exhausted. If you kill it, predict 2, then draw 1, gain 1 XP. So you probably want to try to play this early on, get your XP, get the cards that you need to in your hand. Blast Cone, when you play this, you may move an enemy unit. So just move a unit. That's pretty powerful in itself. That's why it's like a 4 energy, 1 power. When you move an enemy unit, you may exhaust this to stun it. So you also have the option to stun. So not bad. And then Soul Sword, an equipment, I have an additional +1 might. I think this is kind of like, it's mid. You could probably replace this with some other stuff. It does give you just a little bit more benefit if you're level 3. It is a cheap, 1 energy, 1 power cost to attach it. So let's go through some replacement cards here. So let's go into what your late game cards look like, and there's a few of them. So we kind of went over the early cost play cards. Okay, so now let's go through some of the late game cards that you'll want to play to really help you close out the game. And there's a few. So some of the Vex cards over here, like Mocking and Cheerless, you want to try to get them out sooner than later. Maybe Mocking, you can get them out a little bit late game, since they are around 5 energy. But these other cards, such as Megatusk, this gives you ganking, so it really helps you kind of close out the game, conquer one area, or you already conquered it, you held it, you got your 1 point, play down Megatusk to give them all ganking, and then you move them over to really secure that last point. And then you also have, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ysilla. When I hold at the start of your next main phase, you may move an enemy unit to this battlefield. So if you're holding, she's there, you might have other cards there, you can drag an enemy over there and start a combat, start a showdown, and you'll probably wipe it out since you have a pretty good amount of might. And then Maunch. I think Maunch is pretty good. If an opponent controls a stun unit, I cost 2 less and enter ready. So I think this is really great. Stunning is very easy. You have so many ways to stun enemies. Essentially a 4/6. That's a very efficient card to play, and it enters ready, so it can help you conquer whatever you need to conquer. So those are more of your late game cards that you want to play. So I do think we can modify this deck a little bit. There's other stun cards that can help you out. For example, Thwonk. It's an action card. If you play Cheerless, you can play this just for 1 energy. You can repeat it as well. Stun an attacking unit. So if someone's attacking you, that means you are holding, you want to continue to hold, just start stunning them across the board. Another really, really good one, especially again if you have Cheerless out, and this will be like such a cheap card to play. It'll be a 1 energy card to play if you have, let me make sure I'm saying this right, Cheerless. Yeah, Cheerless is Bone Skewer, Pike's card. You can hide it, or you can just play it from hand, it doesn't matter. Choose a battlefield, and opponent reveals their hand. So now you're getting information. Information is key. So now you can play around what they have in their hand. You know what they could potentially play out. You may choose a unit from it. They play that unit to that battlefield, ignoring any and all costs. So you're like, hey, they get to play a free unit? Yeah, but you're going to kill it probably. When they do, stun it. So you should pick a unit that you know you can kill. Maybe has some special ability. You pull it in, you stun it, and now you can potentially kill it. I think this is a very, very, very powerful card in this deck. I would put like a 2 of, maybe a 3 of in this deck. I would even maybe replace your gear tokens for it. I think it's really, really, really good. So I would highly recommend slotting a Bone Skewer in. For units, I would actually replace Ysilla. Like Ysilla is just such a high cost card, 7 energy, 1 power. Instead, you can play this, which is 1 energy less. It's a 6 might card, and Ysilla is also 6 might. But it's such a clutch card to put in. If opponent's score is within 3 points of the victory score, I enter ready. So now she's ready to fight. Stun enemy units here have -8 to a minimum of 1. So we know we can stun easily with a variety of different ways. And then you give all those stun enemy units -8. So you can clean up that area very, very easily. So this is a great card offensively or defensively. So I think this would be much better than Ysilla. The other card that I was thinking of to include in this deck is, you could potentially have Ahri. If you're holding really well, you can get some bonus points, and this bonus point can help you win the entire game. And then another one I think is kind of optional. When I hold, you may return a unit or gear from your trash to your hand. So if something key, critical got killed, this could help you get it back. Another one is Blitzcrank. When you play me to a battlefield, you may move an enemy unit here. When I hold, return me to my owner's hand, and that kind of helps you with that one battlefield that I mentioned before. So when you get a card back to your hand, you can help use this to ramp up. Yeah, and then if you want, I don't think this is a must-have, but it could be fun to put a Pike in there as well. Since it has ganking, it gives you a little bit of ganking potential, help you close out that game, and you can get like a +2 in there as well. So that's the deck. If you want to give this a try, what you can do is you can click on the link in the description below, click export, text list, you copy it there, go to TCG Arena, decks, you click on new deck, import, paste it in, import and add. I'm going to hit replace just for now, and then save it, and then you can play this. Do keep in mind this deck is not legal because Unleashed is not out yet. So if you want to play this deck and you're playing on TCG Arena, just give a heads up to your opponent, like, hey, are you okay if I play an Unleashed deck? If they say yes, great. If they say no, just politely back out and just match up with someone. If you like this, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I have the Vi deck as well that I went over. And if you like this content, let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.